This is Adelie.
And this is Anna.
And you're listening to Retweet,
Millennials' favorite podcast for all things retweetable.
Alita Nugent is an Emerson College grad and author of now 2 successful books, Don't Worry, It Gets Worse, and You Don't Have to Like Me, and of course, founder and creator of the awesome online blog, The Frenemy.
So, Alita, tell us about yourself.
So, I'm a couple years out of college. I graduated in 2010, and I published my first book, I think, in 2012, and then this book in 2015. Was it 2015? Yes. And so I'm a writer. I, freelance and write books and hang out in Brooklyn, which is where I live.
What would you say is your favorite thing about being a novel writer, just a writer in general?
I think my favorite thing is just kind of making my own schedule. It's pretty cool to work from home and sort of get up when I want. And sometimes it's not so great when I have to hand in a deadline and I have to work all night. But I like making my own schedule and kind of being able to create the work and lifestyle that I want, I guess. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being a blogger as opposed to being a writer? Or how are they different?
Feedback comes right away when you blog. When I write a book, I write it for a year or so, and then it doesn't get published for another year. So you kind of sit on it for a long time. Sometimes I drive myself crazy just being like, is this good? I just want to send it to a bunch of people because I'm going crazy. So when the second book came out, I think only 2 people had read it before it got published, my editor and my agent. And so it was kind of weird to get the feedback from it. But when you write something on the internet, you get feedback, both good and bad, pretty quickly. So it's kind of fun to see and interact with people and sort of get an idea of what's good about it and what's not so good about it. And so I kind of like the communication aspect of blogging.
Do you have a funny feedback story of someone?
You know what? I don't even know if this is funny, but it's interesting. This is actually my book. I'd written my first book, and then a year later, I got this email from this woman who was really angry that I had put a line in the book about rabid pit bulls as a joke. And she was like, I love pit bulls. And I was like, I'm such a pit bull activist. And I kind of wrote back and I was like, you know what? I kind of agree with you. I think pit bulls are really cute. And I used to work in an animal shelter. And I'm like, I think I would have changed that if I, had a second shot at it. And then she sent me this cute, adorable photo of her pit bull wearing sunglasses. And I was like, this is actually the first time someone's critiqued me where I actually felt good about the exchange afterward when they were kind of angry at me. So it was kind of fun to sort of take her down and be like, apologize for it. Because I just I don't know, I was young and I wasn't really thinking. And so I guess that was a fun story, I guess. It was kind of interesting.
You have 6.1K followers on Facebook. Do you know how many others you have on your other platforms?
Oh, gosh, I'm so bad at doing those things. I have around that on Twitter and 2,000-something, 500 on Instagram. But Facebook, I never post on anymore. So it's really, I don't know. Facebook.
You still have a lot of likes.
It sucks because it really changed when I first started doing it. You didn't have to pay to be visible, but now you sort of have to give money to Facebook in order to get your post visible. So I sort of turned to Twitter and Instagram as a more easy and free way to communicate with people. So I kind of focus on those the most.
How do you use them?
I don't know. I kind of Twitter's sort of, you can kind of get your thoughts out all day. And so, I kind of use that regularly. Instagram, I just like posting pictures of lipstick and dogs and food.
Dogs.
I love dogs.
Let's see how many times dogs.
Right. I'm a feminist blogger and I spend most of my time talking about dogs.
That's the best. I can't even explain how much I love dogs. Do you want to explain what Carrie Bradshaw math is?
Oh, God. So that is by far, you'd think that as a writer who writes about pro-choice, birth control, and all these things, you think that I would get more attacked for that. I got the most attacked for the Carrie Bradshaw math piece that I wrote about 5 years ago. And I was watching Sex and the City. I just moved to New York. And I was like, this is so ridiculous. She's making all this money as a writer. And I know that I'm a writer and I'm not making that much money. And I just kind of did this fake math piece about it. Okay, if she writes a column in the New York Star every week, she probably gets $500 for it. So she'll probably make like $2,000 a month, and like Manolo Blahniks are $1,200. So her rent has to be like $800 or she doesn't eat. And like, it was like a joke, and people were sending me like, well, she got that deal in Paris and she got like the book. And I'm like, I know, but those things happen later. And also like, you know, a book of her book was like just old essays, so it probably wouldn't have gotten like that much money. I was just like very adamant about it, and people were just like, you're so stupid and we hate you. And I was like, but I don't know, Carrie Bradshaw, I mean, they had the episode where she like couldn't buy her apartment because she like didn't have any money. So like I'm sure she had like credit card debt or something, or like I don't know, but it just seems very implausible. And even though 5 years later I'm like making my living solely as a writer, I can still tell you that I've never owned a pair of Manolo Blahniks.
Moral of the story.
Right, exactly.
Don't think I will very soon.
What do you think millennial women are most concerned about these days?
I think that I'd like to think that they're most concerned about not only their rights, but the rights of others, and sort of make sure we all have a fair shot of things. You know, I have my own story, I have my own wants and needs, but I am pretty aware that that's not the wants and needs of everyone.
What are you like most personally concerned about, do you think, day to day?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think that for my every day that I sort of get up and walk around and I have a chapter in the book about getting home safe, that's the thing that I think about the most, especially in New York as a woman and as a person. I mean, the subway crimes are like going, like, I hear all these slashing stories and I get like freaked out. But just the idea of getting home safe for me is something I think about every day, so it weighs heavy on my mind, and the things that are around it, like what that means for not only me but other people, you know, when it's like whether it's catcalling or things that are going on with the police, or what, you know, even just crime in New York or whatever it is. Getting home safe is sort of something that I guess focus on in my own life.
The Plan B story is from the second book, right?
Yes. It just happens to a lot of us, and it's important to be open about it for me and what I talk about in my own work, because I know I don't want it to be a taboo topic. I don't want it to be like hidden. And when I started talking about it, I knew a lot of people have taken it, and you know, it's an important resource. It's a resource that's been hard to get for some people. It's a resource that in New York it's pretty easy to get, but in other parts of the country it's hard. And I just want to talk and be open about how it's an important thing and a helpful thing and a good thing for women to have access to.
So you are Latina and you're white,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay. How do you think that kind of has an effect on your perspective or on your writing?
It's something I think about a lot, because it's such a duality to me, which I didn't think about how odd that is and how just split they were until, you know, the older I got. And so it feels sometimes like a split personality. And so sometimes it can be difficult to figure out both sides, and I still haven't really managed it. But it does feel very split. There's certainly a spark right now of figuring out what race means to you and to the world, and there's a lot of people working it out. There's such like, you know, like the like hashtag like Black Girls Rock, or like Black Girls Are Magic, or like, you know, Latinas you know, kind of coming together on social media and talking about their experiences. You know, you see that upsurgence of those feelings, and so I find kind of comfort in that, where we're all trying to figure it out. I think that the duality and being sort of biracial is making sure I'm not speaking over those voices that don't get the opportunity to talk as much because of, you know, the whiteness that I have. So, you know, I like to talk about my experiences, but I like to talk about specifically my biracial experiences and what that means. And, you know, my mom has a different experience than I do, and my dad has a very different experience than I do, and my brother has a different experience than I do. So, you know, I think it's a unique place to be for me, and I try to talk about that unique point and not so much speak for everyone.
What are you doing now? Like, what do you think is next for you?
I'm starting some proposals for the third book, and I'm doing a lot of freelance right now, and I think that I am just planning I used to plan like the next year or two, and now I'm kind of planning the next like 5 years, and where I want to take that. I mean, I think I'm going to start doing fiction and sort of, I personally find that my best work comes from just like books and writing and like the internet when I'm getting to do what I want to write. So I'm trying to find a career that consistently lets me do those things. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes I do freelance stuff and I do like lists and all those things, but I kind of want to get to a place where I can just write exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Which everyone wants, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Great.
Do you have anything else? I don't think.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It was fun.
What fun.
Retweet.